My son Nicholas was born in Melbourne in 1983. He was a beautiful little boy, my little blonde-haired blue boy, and followed shortly not long after by my Snowline. He was a lovely little fella, but very, very determined. He was always a thinker, always off and silent, just thinking and thinking. He had his football as clearly one of the big loves in his life. He had his first game of football at the age of 5. He ran around that ground, that oval. I thought he was going to collapse. He didn't even know the rules. All he knew was that he had to get that ball and kick a goal. He's been kicking goals ever since. Right through then, he had an appreciation for music. He played violin in primary school, which quickly progressed to electric guitar in secondary school. He won his, I think it was the age of 10, he got best determined on ground with his football, and that was followed a couple of years later with his best and fairest. He did try his hand at basketball once. We were back in the car after about 5 minutes on our way home because he tackled 3 basketballers. He just couldn't get it. And I asked him why, and he said, well, they had the ball, and I had to get it. He was an extraordinary swimmer. He represented his school in diving and also in swimming. He also represented the state in his diving and always came home with his trophy. He studied hard at school because he used to ask me, as a single parent, I don't know how to do all this. And I said, all you have to do is have a dream and work hard. I said, my dream is your education and I can work hard. Okay? So Nicholas worked hard and he worked hard. I can't believe what he has done over his life. I can't believe that he has fitted so much into 30 years. Last year he did his double masters and also did his CPA. I don't know how he did that. He also played his football. He's away every weekend overseas playing games, and he just seemed to fit everything in. I'm very, very proud of my son, and I hope he sleeps well. I have a page here. Nicholas was also a charity worker in Vietnam, and Sister Trish Franklin has emailed something she would like me to read out. It's titled Nick Shields, A Great Bloke. I first met Nick about 9 months ago, though I've certainly heard his name thrown about town, only in a good way. The Loretto Vietnam Australian program started in 1997, had a very desperate need of a trustworthy accountant. When I asked other friends where I should go to find one, they answered, you should be talking to Nick Shields. So I met up with Nick, and in 5 minutes he offered us strategic compliance services to outsource our accounting. And since then, services have been stupendous. That decision was made in the first 5 minutes with precise ideas and reasoning. The other 55 minutes, we talked footy. Nick discovered that I was a mad Carlton supporter, and he shared the fact with me that a lot of his family were born in Carlton Football Club Guernseys. Our many meetings following on from that game were also 5 minutes business, and the rest was footy talk. A note on the side, I did see Nick drop a notch or two from Buddy Franklin at the Hawks. Nick then became very passionate that his employees have some hands-on with the children in our care. They spent an afternoon along with Nick at the School for the Blind, running NDC School Idol. Nick was really at home with the kids, led by his example, gave the kids a fabulous time. Another afternoon was given to our kids at Sunrise Special School, playing games with the intellectually challenged kids here. What superb farsightedness into corporate social responsibility was achieved by Nick. He reached out of the office to lead his colleagues into sensitive and generous hands-on into the community. Nick, Carlton Football Club won't meet you in the grand final this year, but look out for 2015. Thanks, mate, for your example of altruism and selflessness. Rest in peace, mate. Go the way of please.
Nicholas and I were very close growing up together. Aged only 18 months apart, we were quite a team. Even though there were only 18 months between us, it was very clear that he was the big brother, and he took his role very seriously. I could not have asked for a big brother that could have been more loving, protective, or supportive of me. There was never a question of how much we loved each other. Over the last 10 years, we both went on and lived our unaccepted dreams. I married and had a family, and he went on and achieved academic and career success. However, even though we both had very different life choices, the bond of being siblings never shifted, and there was always a respect for one another and an understanding of who each other was and where we had come from. Whilst Nicholas has passed away now, he will live on in my heart forever. Nicholas was always so strong and determined. There was nothing stopping him from achieving anything that he had his heart set on. Even though he has now passed, he has clearly demonstrated to myself and all those in his life how to stand strong and achieve well beyond all limits. I will take and cherish this gift of strength and determination and hold him deep in my heart and soul forever. I love you so much, Nicholas, and I will miss you every day until we meet again. Rest in peace, my beautiful brother. And I've also got a poem to read out for Nicholas. Feel no guilt in laughter, he'd know how much you care. Feel no sorrow in a smile, that he's not here to share. You cannot grieve forever, he would not want you to. He'd hope that you could carry on the way you always do. So talk about the good times and the way you showed you cared. The days you spent together, all the happiness you shared. Let memories surround you, a word someone may say, will suddenly recapture a time, an hour, a day that brings him back as clearly as though he were still here and fills you with the feeling that he's always near. For if you keep those moments, you will never be apart, and he will live forever, locked safely within your heart.
I've been given the honour to talk about Shiells legend on behalf of all his mates and give you an idea about what he meant to us. We've been getting together over the last week to remember Shiells, and there are a number of key traits that have come up again and again. Not going to go into specific stories now. First, because there are too many, and second, because a high percentage would be inappropriately said. There'll be an opportunity for people to tell stories about me First, Shields is loyal to his mates. If any of us was ever in trouble, whether on the footy field or in the playground, you knew that you could count on Shields to back you up. Despite his appearance, which included beautiful, straight, shoulder-length blonde hair that resided in Giles' grandma, believing that Shields was Giles' girlfriend, he was a good man for himself. Shields loved being part of the group. No matter what it was, he was in. Whether it was parties, houseboating trips, or holidays, he was always amongst it and always at his best. A great example of this was a trip to Thailand as fresh-faced 18-year-olds, where Shields had been year to year the entire trip. And Shields, 3 votes. Shields was a joker. He had the name, timing, the gag in his typical dry way. And when he cracked out his laugh, it was contagious. Shields was hard working. Many of us benefited from this directly, working for industrial workforce unloading shipping containers. Getting paid by the container was always Shields' centre of pace. And as we can see with everything that he's achieved in his 30 years, when he said he wanted something, he got it done. Shields was confident but not condescending. This could be seen as he strode through the streets of Pabajini in the city, throwing out high fives.
He is, not was, our eldest grandchild, the eldest of 9, who we all love so dearly. I know there are grandparents here today, but I know that in their hearts there is a special place for their elders. It is the introduction to become a grandparent that the eldest provides as grandparents, and the start of a joy that will last forever. It has been so difficult in dealing with the situation, and we would like to thank all who have given us such loving and caring support through this very sad time. Nicholas was born 18 months prior to us arriving in Melbourne, so we would naturally see more of him once we became part of his life. During his childhood days, he would take a very keen interest in all things around him. He was a good student, had a special interest in sports, as you've heard from the previous speakers, of course, and he represented Xavier College particularly in international swimming sports. He was an excellent diver, and he performed very successfully for this college. As has been previously mentioned, he passionately followed Hawthorn, and when you consider the location of this magnificent Xavier College and living close by in Barker's Road and in Kew, you can certainly understand why. Needless to say, I politely backed off from thinking of trying to convert him to support the Blues. He loved grand final day in Melbourne, and the atmosphere of the balcony of our home in Jollymont, and we all used to join in the spirit of things and celebrate that great day and be part of it. Whether we got in the ground or not didn't really matter. He wanted to enter the full-time workforce overseas with his international qualifications and chose Saigon to apply his newly acquired skills. He quickly worked his way to the top of his employer's firm and promoted as business development manager. As most of you here today know, he established his own business partnership in strategic clients in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and employed many local staff. As also mentioned previously, he supported local charities, including the Loretto program, run by Sister Trish Franklin, and presented awards of achievement to those with disabilities and indeed disadvantaged youth. His love of football, of course, and it's no surprise to anybody, those who have access to Facebook, to see the response from the Swans Football Club, the Vietnam Swans Football Club. He became heavily involved there as a player. He served as president, coaching duties. I reckon he even cut the oranges at 3/4 time, including the boots of the players at that 3/4 time break. He loved his international playing weekends in all Southeast Asian countries. But the important thing that we loved, he would come back to Melbourne at least once or twice a year to catch up with us and see his beloved ground. He would always come back 10 days prior to Christmas to liaise with his Australian business clients. So off he'd go, he'd go on a plane to Adelaide, he'd fly off to Sydney, and then of course, how's he going to get around Melbourne? Well, I resurrected the old ute and I'd take him around all his clients in the suburbs of Melbourne, both north and south of the Yarra. I know Graham used to say, well look, he's got his nice clean suit on, you better make sure the ute's nice and clean. Somebody might have had their lunch in it the day before, or someone's dog was in it last time, just took to the tip. But never mind, we cleaned it up for Nicholas and off we went on our trips around his Melbourne clients. Surprise, surprise, his second trip back home usually coincided with a game involving the Mighty Hawks at the G, and he'd politely look up the door and say, listen, Barker, you couldn't get us a couple of seats with you for that particular game when I come back next time. He had great times with his uncles, Alistair and Brian, and in Vietnam, even though I went there with Mary on an occasion and had a great time, but they had many visitors, I understand, and also friend Brian Marsh in the same industry. I'd like to refer to Mr. Phil Johns, who I had the privilege of meeting yesterday, who arrived in Vietnam, I believe, is amongst the congregation here today, and I met him for the first time, as I said. I'd just like to read out, if I may, because this is what was said at the eulogy in Vietnam some of Nicholas's achievements. He established strategic compliance in December 2011, and with the mighty Mrs. Min Ho, who was his business partner, who he described as the best in the world. His ability to adapt in a timely manner, take for example when strategic turned up to work one Monday morning, and on the other side of his wall they had started driving pylons into an 8-storey building. By the following morning he found, secured, and set up another office for his staff to walk into. I think the mighty Mr. Buddy may have had a role in that. He set up a myriad of business opportunities in multiple countries and multiple partners. While establishing his business, he happened to punch out a couple of master's degrees just to fill the time to study. He set up an ongoing relationship with the accounting club at RMIT University. He introduced a program to support Viet Swim. Surprisingly, most of the population of Vietnam don't swim. Actively supported the Lorette program with a human touch, Sister Chris Franklin described as magnificent. Nick was also Saigon president of the Vietnam Swans. I've looked at Nick's life through I'll call him Nicholas, his life through grandparents' eyes. We're very, very proud of him. He loved his family, he loved everybody. At Christmas time, he would come home and spend Christmas Day. I told you about the other things we used to do prior to Christmas. The next day, the Boxing Day test match, we'd make sure we go to that. Then out on driving in the youth out to the golf course up the road in Ivanhoe to play the Saigon Swans, the Swans game of golf. They're in the golf game in Melbourne. And it's just not going to be the same with those things I'm caring. He'll be with us in spirit at Christmas, no doubt about that. He'll be there, and we'll all celebrate in his memory.
Thank you all. So let us pray. Almighty God and Father, it is our certain faith that your Son who died on the cross was raised from the dead, the first fruits of all who have fallen asleep. Grant that through his mystery, your servant Nicholas, who has gone to his rest in Christ, may share the joy of his resurrection. We ask this through Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you, in unity of the Holy Spirit, one God forever.